last 10, 15 years, you have seen and experienced tremendous change. You have seen India actively participate in the global world. The virtual platform that got created about 10 or 15 years ago became very reliable and dependable. The country today has less than 2% of the world's GDP. However, it has more than 16% of the world's population. The comparative advantage that has come to prevail on account of the fact that this human resource can use the virtual platform effectively is tremendous. And it is not about providing human resources at lower cost. It is about being able to do things in the best possible manner and at the same time make things as cost effective as you could. It is the combination that makes the difference. It is not very difficult for us to come to that conclusion if any of us have dealt even remotely with the world markets. The world customer and the investor has his heart in his pocket. It is his wallet that speaks, and he is constantly looking for value. He wants the best at the lowest cost. And it's for that reason today's theme is most relevant for us. We have for so long been driven by production economy. Have we learned to address issues from the point of view of quality, from the point of view of excellence? We cannot say that we have mastered it, but we are beginning to learn. I would like to take few examples of what it takes to make a difference, to be in the company of winners. I am quite fortunate, since we are providers of services to the global world, to have interacted over a period of time with several well-known business leaders. Let me start with a small experience that I have had in meeting Mr. Bill Gates when he visited Hyderabad, and what we have learned from him. When he came to Hyderabad, he was visiting our technology center. We were quite excited. My colleagues in the corporate services made elaborate arrangements. He was landing directly at our technology center from a helicopter, and all best arrangements were made. And our colleagues have arranged for a horse-drawn cart, fully decorated, and Mr. Bill Gates came in, and he went through all the rituals, but he seemed to see through all of them, not care about any arrangement that has been made. From the moment he landed till the time he left, he kept talking about Satyam, other Indian companies, and he started talking about the global systems integrators such as IBM Global, Accenture. He was inquiring as to who would be the winner tomorrow and what it is that Microsoft should be doing differently so that they can engage themselves even better and enhance their market share, have greater impact created. It was all about focus. He seemed to ignore everything else. Now, what is it that you learn from someone who is the richest man in the world, constantly wanting to improve on account of the fact that he has brought tremendous focus? To be among the best, one would presume that it is very important that one is very focused. Let me take yet another example which told me something about continuous improvement. When Mr. Jack Welch was still heading GE, I had the privilege of meeting him, and sometime along the conversation, he abruptly stopped me and he asked me a question which took me by surprise. He asked me, Raju, if you are in my shoes, if you are managing General Electric, what would you do? Coming from possibly the world's best business leader, a question of this kind, it goes without saying, surprised me the most. I gave whatever answer I could. But what was very clear from his inquiry was that he was wanting to learn continuously. He was wanting to figure out as to how General Electric can learn from what is happening in the developing country markets, what kind of innovative solutions he can provide to the global markets. And in order to do that, he appeared to think that wherever he can pick up the right information from, wherever an idea exists, it is something that he should grab. Therefore, continuous improvement is something which is at the center, in my opinion, of being a winner. Yet another example is about being focused on one's business by being clear about the minutest details that can make a difference. And this learning for me came from interaction with Mr. Michael Dell. Let me not give an impression that only the best businessmen in the world have something to teach us. But I thought that since there are many youngsters here, they might want to know as to how the minds of some of these winners work. He sent a mail some time ago, we happen to be their customers as well as their service providers. Sent a mail some time ago saying that Satyam is evaluating various vendors to buy PCs, and he was asking me if I can look into the matter and evaluate his product more closely. I sent back a reply. I told my colleagues, and subsequently, to be frank, I forgot about that altogether. And sometime later, I was in Seattle attending a conference, and I happened to meet him. And that is then that I remember that he has sent a mail, so I had to say something. So I told him that whatever request he has made, we are looking into it, my colleagues are evaluating, and before I completed his my sentence, he stopped me and he said, Raju, you gave the order to my competitor already. What he knew, I didn't know. He knew something about what was happening in the remotest part of the world as far as he is concerned in a small country like Satyam. What it means is that excellence can be found in detail. And if only we are focused, and go into fair amount of detail, and we are looking for continuous improvement, then to raise to a different level is not at all going to be difficult. We are players in the global world today, and therefore we have to assume that there are no barriers, and the barriers are the ones that we set for ourselves. I'd like to conclude by reminding you of one thing, and that is, in my opinion, nothing is more important than the goals that you set for yourself. If one were to ask as to what it takes, what is the most important thing for someone to be able to climb Mount Everest, in my opinion, the most important thing is that very decision you take, that you would climb Mount Everest at any cost. That is the most important thing. Everything else, in my opinion, is a matter of detail. You may succeed, you may not succeed. But unless you have made up your mind to achieve a goal that you have set for yourself, the question of achieving it does not arise. All of you know about the story that has happened in the 60s, when John F. Kennedy, in the beginning of 60s, said that before the end of the decade, the United States would make the man land on the moon. The entire country aligned itself to accomplish that goal, and in fact, before that decade, the United States did manage to put man on the moon. In my opinion, everything else was a matter of detail. It is just that a nation decided that they would do something and did everything in their hands to make that happen. To set audacious goals, to remind all of you, I'm sure many of you, very successful people here, are the ones who have done this time and again. To set audacious goals, to go to bed with them, to raise in the morning alongside with them, to power these goals with passion. A passion that borders on obsession. If only we should do that, in my opinion, we would find very soon in the company of the best. Thank you.